What is up, ladies and genitals? Welcome back to my second channel. Fist bump. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop playing small and step into main character energy. A lot of this actually comes from our subconscious. Our subconscious is what keeps us playing small. For example, if you've watched me on YouTube for a long time, you know about my entrepreneurial background, the fact I've always been very ambitious and goal-driven. But over the past 2 years, I would say that I've actually slowed down a lot. One, I needed a break, but two, there was some subconscious things keeping me from playing big again. As I said in my previous video, Carl Jung, if we don't know our subconscious, that is going to control our whole life. It wasn't until I figured out these subconscious fears that I was able to then step into this energy and play big again and really get aligned with what I wanted. So for example, I got to the stage financially where of course I wanted more, but I was already doing like very well. And because of that, I subconsciously didn't want to do better because I was like, oh, my life is really comfortable right now. I like the way everything's going. And that was one of the things keeping me small. Secondly, I had this maladaptive subconscious belief that if I became more successful, I wouldn't find a good partner because I would just mog all men, which might be a maladaptive thought in itself, but this was all subconscious and it was keeping me from achieving those goals and like getting started on these things. If you told me a couple of months ago, before I even clocked this, I would have been like, you're insane. What do you mean I'm playing small? Like, that is not who I am, because we can become so tied to our identity that we completely ignore the subconscious. Also, it's funny, I'm looking at this quote I got in Bali and I've read it before. It's like this script. It's by allegedly Nelson Mandela. I don't think it is. And I'm going to read it. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are all powerful beyond measure. We are afraid of our own power. And if you go deeper into the subconscious, there are reasons why. Yeah, maybe you're actually afraid of your life changing. You are comfortable. You're comfortable right now. Like, imagine if you got everything you wanted, how different your life will be. You won't be able to see your same friends. You'll have different friends. Maybe not be able to spend as much time with your family or your dog. And this might sound all well and great to you, but actually think about if you were in that position, like if it happened tomorrow, it will actually be very jarring for you. And I know, because the life I dreamed of, I would say I have like 70% of it now. Like, I'm so lucky that this is the life I vision boarded when I was younger. But I'm telling you, if 20-year-old me got everything 24-year-old Simone had all in one go, I would actually be like, what the fuck? I don't know what to do with this right now. I'm very overwhelmed. And you know what that leads to? Self-sabotage. Secondly, it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And that's also because humans, we innately look for problems. We look for problems and we look for the darkness within us. And we always ask ourselves, like, what is wrong with us? Like, how can we be better? And that also keeps us small, because maybe you feel undeserving or unworthy of doing something bigger or achieving something greater. Next, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? We are capable of doing this and we are worthy of it. Next, you are a child of God, if you're religious. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. And that is something I did too. I found as I did more and achieved more, I felt so deeply unworthy of it, because I'm very empathetic, which means I feel so sad if people don't have as much. And it's like, I've gotten to the position where people naturally are not going to have as much, but I felt so guilty about that, especially because there were people close to me, like family members, who are not doing well. And then I would feel the need to put myself down to make them feel better, even though they're not asking that. And also to excessively give away what I have to make myself feel better. But that all just led to playing small. And then I had a thought, if I continue to play small, that is not serving anyone. Okay, I'll make a couple of people not feel as bad about themselves, but ultimately, if I were to do even better, I can help more people, I can inspire more people. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. We need to stop worrying about what other people are thinking, not how they are feeling, but if they're intimidated, it's not your problem. I've said this in other videos, but when I was younger, and even maybe now, people have always described me as being quite intimidating. And as a child, especially in high school, I really took this to heart, and I would shrink myself so much, and I would try to make people feel good around me so I wouldn't make them feel bad just by my presence. But if I continued to do that, I would never have grown on YouTube and now be inspiring over 1 million people online. People's opinions are so relevant unless you value their opinion, like they're your family or your friends. And even then, sometimes family and friends, they have a very skewed perspective on you that is from their own internal criticisms of themselves, aka they're projecting onto you. So take what other people say with a grain of salt. Okay, how can we start playing bigger and show up as our authentic selves? Make a list of everything that makes you happy, everything that brings you joy, inspires you, and also your values. Think about, if you were not held back from anything, if no one cared about you, no one was watching you, what would you be doing right now? If you had no obstacles in the way, and sometimes we are our own obstacle. So if your thoughts were not blocking you, what would you be doing right now? And then after, we need to start doing these things that scare us. It's like a muscle that we have to train. Being seen, getting out there and doing it, and getting that exposure therapy. So I want you to make that list, okay? And every day, start to do one thing from that list that you haven't done before. I was reading a story about EFT tapping, and the girl basically, she tapped her way to having a bigger bust. And she found the subconscious blocks that kept her from having this bigger bust in childhood, despite all of her family members having it, was because she was so scared of sexual abuse. She really internalized that if I would have a bigger chest, it means I'll get more male attention, which means I will get abused. And her father's comments on women with bigger breasts. And once she tapped on this and made peace with everything, she actually went from like an A cup to a D cup. You can Google that story. But the subconscious is really wild. You also need to accept that you are worthy of everything you want, okay? You may have this subconscious belief, oh, I'll never become rich because no one in my family is rich, or I'm just a random girl from a Midwestern town in America and it's not going to happen for me. You need to overcome that block. Do you think anyone in the world who has ever done something, if they were to play small, the world would be very different? Imagine if Steve Jobs never invented Apple. We wouldn't have the iPhone, the first touchscreen phone. Everyone was like, touchscreen phone, like that's ridiculous, let's go laugh at him, he can't do it, and he did it. If you're getting from this video that it's actually our subconscious which is keeping us small, it is not you. Consciously, you probably want to achieve great things. I mean, who doesn't? And you want to like go and do all these things, but your subconscious is worried and it's protecting you and it's stopping you from doing that. I know there's a girl who talks about fame and like the fear of being seen, and she essentially says, even though you want to be famous, your subconscious prevents you from being famous because it won't let you show up how you want to. For example, you want to be a viral YouTuber. How can you do that? Create very outlandish content that probably will get a lot of haters as well, because whatever is really loved, on the opposite side, is very hated. But your subconscious is very scared of criticism and the fact that so many people from your hometown maybe are going to see that video. So it doesn't allow you to even make that content or even conjure up those ideas. Your mind can't even think of an idea like that which will allow you to be seen by that many people. That's why exposure therapy is important. But the first step is actually to identify those fears. And to do that, you can really think about, what are some situations which scare you? And then what are some things you really want to do? And why are you not able to do that right now? And then you need to go through the process of exposing yourself to it and also doing these small little actions in order to train yourself that it's okay to be out there. It's okay to go and do these things. And it's okay to make people upset. Some people are inevitably going to be upset by your choices. Time is constantly passing. Life is short. And I hate saying that. I even hate thinking about that because I think it just makes us worry a lot, like, oh my god, we can die any moment. But it's true, we can die any moment. And if you were to die tomorrow, at least you're dying your authentic self. You have died trying. You did not die wearing a mask or playing small and not living up to your fullest potential. Also surround yourself with people who have similar big dreams and goals, because they will encourage you to do the same. This was a huge realization after I got back from New York. I realized in my time traveling and just being abroad, I was kind of making friends with the most random people who were not necessarily nurturing my growth. And because of that, it also fed into me just being a little bit complacent for the past year or two. And then when I was in New York and I was with my friends who are in startups or finance, or fashion, like they're all doing something really big with their life, that was when I was like, I know exactly what I have to do. And it was something, you guys will see, it was something I was working on a while ago, but I've restarted working on it now because I'm like, the timing is right. I'm not playing small anymore. Now's the time, and now is the time for me and for you. Let's get it. 2024 is coming to a close. We're in Q4 now, which means it's the time to make moves. 2025 is around the corner. I want to see all of you killing it. Ich liebe dich. Tschüss. Bye.